In this tutorial, we're going to look at how you can 3D model from 2D elevations and a floor plan. So first what we need to do is import the elevations and floor plan. So we're going to go to modeling from elevations within the resource folders. You need to set the files of type to import as DWG or DXF. Then you can select the plans. Before you select import, just double check the units as millimeters and that merge coplanar faces is ticked and orient faces consistently is ticked. Once you've done that, you can select import and close the results dialog. Okay, so here's the elevations and the floor plan. It's quite a simple industrial building, just so we can basically teach the concepts. So the first thing I like to do is group everything. So I'll just group all the elevations. And to do that, I've set up a quick key that when I select, I can just press G on my keyboard and it will group. Or if you select the elevation, you can then right click, make group. Next, I'm going to do the floor plan. So I can select that and right click and make group again. The next step is to rotate the elevations vertically so that they're standing upright. To do that, you would select from right to left over top of the elevation, click on the rotate tool, then using your arrows on your keyboard you can choose the plane that you want to rotate on. So in this instance it's the green plane. I'm going to put it on the end point, and I know that there's a line going along there, so that's the foundation, but there's a ground line that goes out further. So I want to use the ground line. I could actually put it on the corner of the building there, bottom of the foundation. Click to begin, take it along the edge of the building. Click again, go upwards, and I just like to type 90 and enter. If you want to change the units on your protractor or rotate tool, you can do that under model info, so window, model info. Then you can go to units and set it to 45-degree increments on your protractor. So when you rotate, you can use the protractor's little increments to snap to. So let's try another one. So we'll get the select tool, select the elevation, click on the rotate tool, use your arrow to choose the correct plane, so it's the red plane in this instance. And I'm going to click to place it on the bottom edge of the foundation, go up the wall, and then I can touch the increment rather than typing in, and it will just quickly snap to that. One more time, or a couple more to do. This time I'm going to select, get the rotate tool, but I'm not going to use the arrows this time. I'm going to use my left mouse button. I'm going to hold that mouse button down, so left click and hold it down on that endpoint. Then I'm going to take it along the edge here to snap it in the direction I want it to go. So red axis, up the wall, and then snap to 90. So you can get it working quite quickly if you're pretty onto it. You can just hit the rotate tool, drag it along the edge, click on there, and just move it up 90. So we've now aligned all of our elevations. The next thing to do would be to, I reckon, just draw the roof. So if we get the line tool, I'm going to draw up over top of the roof with a line. Okay. So I've done that now, and then I'm going to push-pull the roof back until it lines up with the back elevation. So I'm using the elevations like 3D tracing paper. I can just push-pull and reference to different points on those elevations. So next I want to make that a group. Then what I want to do is, so I want to go and create the walls. So, but first I might do the foundation first. So if I get the the rectangle tool, which is R on your keyboard, or click on the rectangle tool, I'm going to go from this far corner, click there, and I'm going to drag it to this corner here. Okay, so I've just traced over the floor plan. Then just check out this. So I'm going to click on this endpoint, come over to here and put it on this edge without clicking, hold shift and it locks it on that line. Then I can go out here and line it up with this outside edge. And that's quite handy because it just gives me a rectangle, fills in the faces, and then I can erase out the excess data between the two rooms. In all reality, there probably is an internal wall in there, but just for the tutorial's sake and a few extra tips and tricks here and there, we'll do it this way. Next, I'm going to get the push-pull tool, click on the foundation, drag it up until it hits the top of the foundation on the elevation. Get the select tool, triple click on the foundation, right click and make it a group, or press G on your keyboard if you have that shortcut. Now I'm going to select the floor plan and move it upwards, so it's just back on top of the foundation, so I can just see where the doors are and things like that. And now I can draw my walls. So what I might do is just edit the foundation group, press H on my keyboard, which hides everything else, and that's again a quick key that we learnt in the previous tutorial how to make that. But if you need to create a quick key, window preferences and shortcuts, and that one was called hide rest of model. Select it, put an H for the hide rest of model, add it and overwrite the existing that may be there, and then press OK. So whenever we edit a group or component, if you press H, it will just hide everything away. So I want to get the outline of this building. So to do that, I'm just going to select the whole face this time and go copy, close the group, edit, paste in place, and then I've got the perimeter of the building, which is quite helpful. But I don't want to push-pull everything up, so I'm going to go to Edit, Make Group, and I can't quite tell which one to double-click on because the surface that I just copied is exactly the same as the foundation. So I'm going to go to Edit and go to Group, Edit Group, and that's just an easy way of getting into the group without accidentally opening the foundation group. So I'm just going to draw a line along the back here, and then I can push-pull up these surfaces because I want to put them through the roof. And you can see that they've gone through perfectly through that roof. Okay, and in this instance I might even just take this wall out to here just because I want to trim these surfaces with the roof. So to do that, I can just push-pull a little bit higher. I can select that there, and then I can go right click, intersect with model, and then press H on my keyboard so I can see the intersection lines. So that's just a really nice way of trimming things through other surfaces, and it just trimmed it or intersected it with the top and bottom surface of the roof. Another way you could have done that was to maybe copy the underside of the roof and paste it into this group so that when you trimmed it, it only trimmed with one surface. Alright, so if I go H again, you can see we're getting the shape now. Next I want to create the walls for this little office block. So I'm going to get the line tool and just trace over top of the elevations. So again, just using the elevations like 2D tracing paper or 3D tracing paper. So this is going to go back along here, and again using the elevation. And just be careful that you do everything on axis, because that will ensure that it locks in the right direction. And again, I'm just using shift whenever I see it go on axis to make sure it locks in the right direction. Now, to find the same angle here could be tricky. So what you can do is you can actually start the line here, touch this edge, hold it without clicking, come back, and eventually it should find perpendicular or parallel to that edge. Okay, and then once it goes purple, hold shift and touch this face, and then come down. and it should close up. Okay, so I don't actually need that bottom face there either. So now I've got the wall surfaces. I can press H again, and I can close this group momentarily because I want to add the roof to the roof group, some more roofing to the roof group. So I double click on the group, roof group, line tool, and I can trace over top of the elevation one more time. And like previously, I push pull till it hits my first surface, so this wall over here. I can then push pull this back to the elevation. I can get the line tool and just put a little break here, and then push pull that face in line with the elevation. So you can quickly see the building shape coming together nicely. Next, we've got a little bit of a architectural detail here. We can trace over top of that. This with the line tool again. Double click on it with the select tool. Right click and make it a group. Actually, I wanted to make it a component, so we'll select make component and then create. And once I've created that, I can double click on that component, edit it, and make it a little bit thicker. So it's now a little bit more 3D. Select tool, close the component, and I'm just going to get the move tool and line it up with the face of the building. Okay, so that's now on the roof. And you can see here on the other elevation down the other end that we've got some details of that. I can now copy from this point using the move tool and control to this opposite side and click. And there's 4 divisions, so I can go 4/enter, and if for example you got that wrong, which I don't think I did, but if you did, for example, you could say, okay, maybe it's 5/enter. Okay, that's too many, so we'll go back to 4/enter, and you can just keep modifying until you change tools. Okay, so we've got some windows to draw onto the building. So we're going to just put or turn off the plan layer, so we can go walls. We'll just turn that off. If it doesn't turn off, we can also just move the whole entire group to 1 walls, and they will disappear. So this is going to be quite fun. So if we double click now on the surface here, I can go H. I can now, press H again because I want to see the elevation. I'm going to get the rectangle tool, R for rectangle, or click on the rectangle tool, hold shift on this face, and see how it locks now on that face? It's stuck on it. So if I keep holding shift with the rectangle tool, I can click and draw on that face, and it will automatically reference the 2D elevations. So next what I want to do is I want to double click on this face and make it a component, because I know I have more than one. And by doing that, you can see it's got cut opening, so it's going to cut an opening into that. And I want to make sure I replace the selection with a component, and I'm not too worried about the name. So go create, double click on the component, rectangle tool again, hold shift on the face, and then I can start to trace over top of the elevation some more. But first, actually what I want to do is just give it a little bit of thickness. So I want to just pull that out, maybe like 20, just so it's looking a little bit more 3D. And go rectangle again. Let's just try that again. So go there to there, hold shift on it, there to there, and hold shift there to there, hold shift there to there. Okay, so just doing something a little bit funny, but we'll persevere. So we're going to push pull now a hole through for the glass. Then you can double click, double click, double click. And I can now just line back up the edges of the windows. Not sure why exactly it Didn't quite line up, but that's okay. And with the rectangle tool, I'm now just going to click in the middle point of the glass and go up to the other side. Okay, so once I've done that, I can just do the same on the other part. And of course you can turn on X-ray mode as well, so you could go up to X-ray mode and I could find the midpoint there, down to there, and there, down to there. X-ray. And I can reverse that face, right click reverse face if I just wanted to make everything point out the right direction. Then if I go to materials, I could find maybe glass, just find a generic kind of color for the glass. And if I right click and close the component, I'm still in the materials tool, the paint bucket tool. I can go back and just find a generic color that I may want to paint the whole entire window. So if I just click on the component, you can see it automatically paints it. Then if I go and get the move tool, I can copy that to the right and use again the elevations as a reference. So that's the core logic behind using the elevations and floor plans to model your building. The only thing left to do would be to do more windows and doors, which I've shown you how to do one. And once you've done that, you can just move those elevations onto a layer to turn the visibility of those off and paint up your model. So it's just a good, quick and easy way to 3D model from 2D or 3D elevations.